Right guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a background inspired by Matisse. Now this is not the worksheet you're going to do. I'm not going to do it exactly like this. I want you to look at these shapes. Now Matisse cuts these out like a collage using scissors, and what I want you to do first of all, get a piece of paper, scrap of paper, and I want you to draw these shapes. Now I think they're a bit like seaweed. See, it's like a flowing line. Now I'm not going to propose we cut that out. Look at these ones. This one's like long sections. So we're just practicing our leaf shape drawing. I'm going to get a piece of paper and draw you some more. If you know anything about leaves, it looks a bit like an oak leaf. Now you could go for more of a jungly type leaf or a simple leaf. I'm not too bothered about how you go about those, but I want you to think about leaf shapes. You could Google leaf shapes and you can have a little look at them. Now we can do this in two ways. We can do this as a physical collage. So this is going to be in your pack. If you look at this, I have some coloured papers and we're going to cut them out and create these kind of effects. Now, if we look back at Matisse, in some of Matisse's work, we can see colour sections. I'm just reaching up to my shelf. And I'm getting down to some paper. And I'm picking out 3 colours. Now you might say I don't have any colour paper at home, but you might then go back to your magazine and find that you do have some papers in magazines. You could still use your magazine sections to do this. Now I'm going to get 3 sheets of paper together. Oops, knocked the camera then with the scissors. So I've got 3 sheets of paper together and I've got my scissors and I just want some sections. So I'm cutting slightly irregular sections. So in effect, I have just made 3 for the price of 1, or the effort of 1. Now I want to cut out one of those wiggly Matisse type cuts. Now the only way to do this is to follow the heel of the scissor technique. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to wiggle and I'm going to keep moving my scissors. If I need to go back in, I'm going to go back in. So I'm doing in and out of here with this wiggly shape. I'm actually going to cut the piece of paper off there because I'm finding it hard to manoeuvre a whole piece of paper. Cutting my wiggly shape. And you can make more of the same wiggly shapes, or you could go freestyle and you could do the other sorts of shapes. One that's a bit like fish body or an eye, and you could add some new features to it. See how I've cut the shape first and then I'm cutting some extra bits out of it. So this is the way I'm generating these strange Matisse like shapes. And I'm actually going to cut one that's a bit more like a worm. Maybe like the head of a snail. Oh, I've kind of created something that's a bit like antennae. I'm just going to have a strange shape here. I'm going to have a rounded end on it. So now I have a load of bits. So what we're going to do is take sections and we're just going to stick them down. So with a bit of Pritt stick around the edges, just enough to pop them down. Now you may have some preconceived plan of what you're going to do, or like me, you might just freestyle and respond to what's going on. The key thing I think is not to have 2 of the same colour side by side. So to think about where to position them and move them like I've done here on either side of that blue central panel. And just keep working on it. If you find you're going to end up with odd gaps, you can overlap them. They don't have to just touch on the boundary. And you keep building it up. Now if you look at this, I could work all the way to the edge of the piece of paper, or I could follow this unusual outline pattern that I'm generating that has a kind of, I don't know, irregular profile. So when you feel like you've got enough pieces down, and you'll kind of know when that case is, then you might start sticking in your leaf shapes. Doesn't matter that those 2 colours are the same, touching each other, I don't think. So I do think now I'm getting about the right number down. Maybe 1 more, and then I'm going to pick up one of my leaf shapes. I've got a bit of glue on my fingers so that sticks quite easily as I pick it up, and I'm just really going on the ends of those seaweedy like shapes. And I want to put them on a contrasting colour, that's a key thing, so it stands out. I don't mind that it's going over the edge into the white, but if you don't like that, you don't have to do that. If you work to the edge of the paper, they could actually hang off the edge of the paper as well. So you're just arranging them as you fancy, really, as you go along. You might make some kind of regular pattern, but because it's non-pictorial, which means it is not an exact picture of a jungle scene, it's a sort of representation, you don't have to create like little bushes in a foreground and a horizon and so on. So you see, I'm just holding things, maybe move them around, see what you think. If you genuinely don't know, just whack them down, see what happens. You might suddenly start developing all kinds of preferences you never knew you had. So when you've got them down, then you'll think about adding your dinosaur. And so in the final stages, what I'm going to do now is I'm reintroducing the dinosaur. Previously I had him stuck down on a piece of white paper, so I've had to carefully prise him off. I broke his tail in the process, so it doesn't really matter because I can pop him into here, and then I can add in his tail and glue that down separately. Now, you might want to add other elements to it. I could put another dinosaur up there. I could put little footprints going across it. I could add some text. I could cut out some text and collage that on. I could consider putting my other dinosaur in, or I could save him and make another background. Enjoy exploring backgrounds.